and welcome to our very first book buzz here at the Flint Memorial Library. My name is ShanTil and I'm the head of reference and information services at the library. I'm so happy that all of you could join us this morning. So here's how this is going to work. There are a lot of new books coming out this month, but we have picked 12 that we're excited about here at the library. We've got a mix of everything. We've got a few different genres for fiction, and we've also got a few memoirs and nonfiction as well that I will get to. So I have my cup of coffee handy, so I hope you'll grab a warm drink as well and join me, and we will get started. Our first slide that I'm going to get into is staff picks, and I just have to say this slide contains some of the prettiest book covers that I've seen in a long while. So our first book over here is Grown by Tiffany Jackson. In an interview with the website We Need Diverse Books, author Tiffany Jackson said the inspiration for Grown came from the stories of the survivors of R. Kelly. It's about a 17-year-old aspiring singer who is swooned by a legendary yet older R&B superstar with promises of fame, leading her to turn against her family until his body shows up and all fingers point to her. Danielle, our youth services librarian, says that Grown was easily one of her favorite books this year. Enchanted is a character that will stay with you. You will feel what she feels as she is groomed by a famous singer and then spirals. I found myself staying awake until 2 a.m. just to finish it, as I could not put it down. Read everything Tiffany Jackson writes. You won't be disappointed. Grown is out now, so you can put in a request if this one piques your interest. The next one is White Ivy by Susie Yang. Raised outside of Boston, Ivy's immigrant granddaughter relies on her mild appearance as she teaches her granddaughter how to pilfer items from yard sales and secondhand shops. Thieving allows Ivy to accumulate the trappings of a suburban teen and to attract the attention of Gideon Spire, the golden boy of a wealthy political family. But when Ivy's mother discovers her trespasses, punishment is swift, and Ivy is sent away to China. Years later, when Ivy bumps into Gideon's sister, a reconnection with Gideon feels like fate. Ivy slowly slinks her claws into Gideon and the entire Spire clan. But just as she is about to have everything she's ever wanted, a ghost from her past resurfaces, threatening the nearly perfect life she's worked so hard to build. White Ivy is out now, and it will be on our library shelves very soon. And the final staff pick is one that I just finished recently and enjoyed. It's called Little Threats by Emily Schultz. In the summer of 1993, twin sisters Kennedy and Carter Wynn are embracing the grunge era and testing every limit in their privileged Richmond suburb. But when the twins' best friend Haley is murdered after a night of partying in the woods, suspicion quickly falls upon Kennedy. She can't remember anything about that night and is eventually forced into her guilty plea. In 2008, Kennedy is released from prison into a world that has moved on without her. Carter has grown distant as she questions Kennedy's innocence and begins a relationship with someone who could drive the sisters apart forever. The twins' father, Jerry, is eager to protect the family's secrets from an impending media circus. As new suspects emerge and the suburban woods finally give up their secrets, two families may be destroyed again. You can find out more about this one when it comes out on November 10th. All right, so our next slide is continuing series. So I know all of you Baldacci fans have probably been waiting for this one. It looks like we've got Daylight, which is the third in his Atlee Pine series. FBI agent Atlee Pine's search for her sister Mercy clashes with military investigator John Puller's high-stakes case, leading them both deep into a global conspiracy from which neither of them will escape unscathed. Daylight comes out on November 12th. Next is Hot to Trot by MC Beaton. It's number 31 in her AGATHA RAISIN series. When private detective Agatha RAISIN learns that her friend and one-time lover Charles Frave is to be married to a mysterious socialite, Miss Mary Brown Field, she sees it as her duty to find out what she can about the woman. Coming up empty, Agatha does the only sensible thing she can think of. She crashes their wedding, which ends in a public altercation. Nursing a hangover the next morning, she receives the disturbing news that Mary has been murdered. Agatha takes the case and quickly becomes entrenched in Mary's competitive equestrian world. as well as her surprisingly violent past. Meanwhile, Agatha herself has become a suspect. Will she track down the criminal in time or end up behind bars herself? You can find out on November 17th. And last but not least, we have Fortune and Glory by Janet Evanovich. It's number 27 in her popular Stephanie Plum series. When Stephanie's grandmother's new husband died on their wedding night, the only thing he left her was a beat-up old easy chair and the keys to a life-changing fortune. But as Stephanie and her grandma search for hidden treasure, they discover that they're not the only ones on the hunt. Two dangerous enemies from the past stand in their way, along with a new adversary who's even more formidable. Gabriella Rose, a dark-eyed beauty from Little Havana with a taste for designer clothes. Stephanie may be in over her head, but she's got two things that Gabriella doesn't: an unbreakable bond with her family and a stubborn streak that will never let her quit. This one's coming out soon. It'll be here on November 3rd. Our next slide is anticipated sequels. We've got a big science fiction one here. In our first one, it's called Ready Player 2 by Ernest Cline, follows his 2011 hit Ready Player 1. Days after winning Oasis founder James Halliday's contest, Wade Watts makes a discovery that changes everything. Hidden within Halliday's vaults lies a technological advancement that will once again change the world and make the Oasis 1,000 times more wondrous and addictive than even Wade dreamed possible. With it comes a new riddle, a new quest, and a dangerous new rival who will kill millions to get what he wants. Wade's life and the future of the Oasis are again at stake, but this time the fate of humanity also hangs in the balance. Just in time for the holidays, this one will be out on November 24th. Next is Moonflower Murders by Anthony Horowitz, which follows his popular mystery Magpie Murders. If you're an Agatha Christie fan looking for a complex mystery with plenty of twists and turns, this is just for you. Retired publisher Susan Ryland is living the good life. She's running a small hotel on a Greek island with her long-term boyfriend Andreas. It should be everything she's always wanted, but she's exhausted with the responsibilities of making everything work on an island where nothing ever does. And she's homesick for London. And then the Traherne family comes to stay. The mysterious story they tell about a murder that took place on the same day and in the same picturesque hotel in which their daughter Cecily was married fascinates Susan and piques her editor's interests. When the Trahernes reveal that Cecily, who had connections to one of Susan's former authors, is now missing, Susan knows that she must return to England and find out what really happened. Moonflower Murders comes out on November 10th. Next is Dark Tides from historical fiction queen Philippa Gregory. This follows Tidelands and is the continuation of her Fairmile series. Two unexpected visitors arrive at a shabby warehouse on the south side of the River Thames. The first is a wealthy man hoping to find the lover he deserted 21 years before. The second visitor is a beautiful widow from Venice in deepest mourning. She claims the warehouse's owner, Eleanor, as her mother-in-law and has come to tell Eleanor that her son, Rob, has drowned in the dark tides of the Venice lagoon. The twist? Eleanor knows without a doubt that her son is alive and that the widow is an imposter. Set in the poverty and glamour of Restoration London and the golden streets of Venice and on the tensely contested frontier of early America, this is a novel of greed and desire, for love, for wealth, for a child, and for home. Dark Tides releases on November 24th. Our final slide for this presentation gives us some memoirs and nonfiction. First up is A Promised Land by Barack Obama. This is the first of two highly anticipated presidential memoirs. A Promised Land is an intimate and stirring portrait of Obama's journey from a young man with political aspirations to the leader of the free world and the first Black president of the United States. You can read President Obama's captivating story for yourself on November 17th. This next one should be a lot of fun. Dolly Parton's Songteller, My Life in Lyrics. Celebrating the life and career of one of country music's biggest stars, Dolly Parton's Songteller mines over 60 years of songwriting and highlights 175 of Parton's songs to bring fans a behind-the-scenes look at her iconic lyrics. This book will also include never-before-seen photographs and classic memorabilia, a must-read for any Dolly fans out there. Dolly Parton's Songteller comes out on November 17th. All right, and to finish out, we have a true crime story called We Keep the Dead Close, A Murder at Harvard and Half Century of Silence by Becky Cooper. Lovers of true crime, memoir, and social issues will get a little of each with this one. Cooper gives readers a meticulously researched narrative about the brutal, unsolved 1969 murder of Jane Britton, a graduate student in Harvard's anthropology department, while tying in her own personal reflections on the misogyny and violence that have overshadowed our nation's most revered institutions. We Keep the Dead Close comes out on November 10th. All right, so that is all for our very first book buzz. I hope you enjoyed hearing about all of these titles, and I hope you're as excited as we are about them. If you'd like to make any requests for these books, you can do so using our online catalog. I will leave that link for everyone in the caption to this video. You can also make requests through the phone. We're always happy to hear from you. So you can give us a call at 978-664-4942. I hope everyone has a great day. Stay safe and warm out there, and we will see you next time. Bye. Take care.